Sounds like.
Should we move?
First we'll call it to order.
Okay, after this.
So. I call to order this meeting of the Park City School District Board of Education. We will begin with the pledge of allegiance.
And pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I will entertain a motion to go into closed session for the purpose of personnel.
I make a motion.
Then you go ahead.
I make a motion that we reconvene for personnel discussion. Closed session.
Second, we discuss.
Oh, and real estate.
As a mistake, excuse me.
All in favor? All in favor?
Roll
Roll call vote. Aye, Meredith.
Yes, Eileen. I, Susan.
Fine.
Maybe we just go straight back into agenda, right?
Yep. Yep. You've already been, you've asked to go open.
Given that we are, wait, we need to, we didn't
Was the
close.
motion to close and go
Yeah.
back into open?
Yeah.
In one motion?
Yes,
Yep.
So we can- fantastic. Given that we are past 5 o'clock, do we have anyone here for public comment?
Yeah. Sheets.
Let's write something up for a public comment.
Yeah, if you do have some public comment, just fill in one of these blue forms, please. Dan,
You want me to come up or just say?
please, or whichever you're more comfortable with.
I'll just come up for 30 seconds. I can hear you better from here. Great. I don't mind talking loud either. Hi, I'm just here, I represent a bunch of parents that, we all have students that are on the athletic teams at Park City. And we just want to continue to come, get to know, or y'all can just see our faces. I was just told Mrs. Goldberg that you have a son that teaches at the high school.
Yes,
My son Levi has him, he enjoys him.
well, great, good to
Yes.
hear that.
So I just wanted to come and say hello. We are happy to be of assistance or help y'all do whatever is needed to move forward with the athletic committee, the fields, the things that we had already, that the board had already approved previously. So I was just saying, hello, my name's Shannon.
Go for it. Hello, Shannon.
What'd you say, Nate?
I say, go ahead, thank you.
And I'm glad you're here too.
Thank you.
And then we had one more for public comment.
Yeah, well,
You can fill that out afterwards, just come in, guys.
anyways, the point that I'm here, I live on Lucky John Drive.
Yep.
Been, I think our HOA, I've been in communication, I've been on emails with Michael Tanner. He's here, but thank you so much. We really appreciate all your responses. So I've been wanting to arrange both that email. So ongoing construction concerns, Michael's addressed some of those and ongoing issues around between lighting and placement. Ongoing construction, that's a noise, but traffic with trucks parked out along Lucky John for all day long. But one of the current issues, I'd say would be the concession stand placement. Moving that from against the fence from across the church onto Lucky John Drive. So the group here, there's half a dozen of us specifically along Lucky John in front of the high school that are concerned about that with the extra noise, trash, smell, everything else. Don't see really a reason for it to be placed along Lucky John Drive architecturally or from any other place where we talked about this. Really would strongly suggest and recommend that I'd like to see another replacement of that concession stand. That's still if they'll continue to do that. There's some other things I know that we've addressed some, we might go on. Ongoing landscaping, once the main construction is done, to sort of hide some of the building. It's been a huge, obviously, change for us. For the houses, right across the street from the school. We recognize that at the beginning, but Mostly having a big building blocking one view, can't do much about it, but at this point, trying to get some better trees and some activity there would be greatly appreciated from the community point of view. Lastly, just talking about this, pushing more traffic down Lucky John will not be the answer to that. We've heard this before, came up years ago on construction, on duplicating or increasing the parking lot here. I know Kearns is extremely busy. That's what that street and state highway is for. Lucky John is a community street. We walk there every day with our dogs are out there, the kids are out there. We do not want to see more traffic speeding, which is an ongoing problem on that street. And seeing heavy trucks going up and down, and if you increase that, we're opening up the parking lot to, there'll be more trucks, more traffic coming along with it. And I can't argue that enough. How you can sit out there and watch the people, nobody goes to burn holes. We can argue it and say that that's happening, but it just doesn't happen, including large trucks. Trash trucks and other construction trucks are going up and down that street very quickly. So those are my comments.
We hear you, thank you. If you could finish, just complete that and hand it to Laurie when you're done. Thank you very much. Anyone else for public comment?
I just piggyback on what Brian said. I was living Lucky John a little bit further down, and I don't know if that's been finalized, that the new plans to the parking lot into the ball field and bring more traffic down, that's not been finalized.
It hasn't.
Okay.
It has not. The part of the athletic master plan that was sort of outlined that dealt with that was the part that we did not approve.
Okay.
But there are ongoing discussions about traffic management generally, and certainly we hear comments.
Yeah, if push comes to shove, if nothing else, maybe, and I've talked with the police chief and everybody else having to do with traffic. If it has to happen, I would hope that it would be enforced, you know, the speed limit thing that happens, but, yeah, thank you.
We hear you, thank you. So that is all for public comment. All right, we are running greatly behind, so we will move on to the work session that should have happened about 40 minutes ago, and the Latin honor system.
So I've lost my co-presenters, they had to step out, so it's just me.
I will support you, Liz.
Oh, thank you. So I'm Liz Moskal, school counselor at the high school, and as part of our realignment committee, we've been working on this Latin honor system. So again, my co-proposers, Roger or Bobby and Mark Parker had to step out, but they helped me work on this. And so just kind of a background of what this is about is basically currently the high school has a system where we weight certain classes, only AP courses, and we provide a class rank. So basically you're X out of how many students that are in the senior class. So that was fairly common amongst high schools for many years, but it's really kind of gotten to be an outdated system. So we were examining different ways to best kind of update that and honor what our students are doing now. So we have a valedictorian that's number 1 and a salutatorian that's number 2 as of right now, and it's just determined purely based on that system of ranking them 1 through 400 on their GPA. So kind of what we found in our studies was this is kind of an unfair, ineffective system because there's a lot of clawing to the top and a lot of students taking courses they might not otherwise take just to sort of try to achieve an arbitrary number. The majority of high schools in the US do no longer rank for a lot of these reasons. Colleges show that about less than 30% of the high schools, they receive transcripts from rank anymore. Also in the recent years, we've added a lot more concurrent enrollment classes. And students are actually going to college campuses and taking courses in a lot larger number than they used to. And those courses are not currently weighted in our system, which really isn't fair because those are just as or more than rigorous as some of the AP selection sometimes. So lots of research went into this. And then Lindsay came from a school district that had a SIM system that kind of addressed this issue, so we took a look at theirs as a model to kind of start the conversation. So this is kind of a lot of what I already said in terms of that process. So what we've developed instead is this Latin honor system where students still achieve honor for their academic excellence. So they receive an honor score based on their GPA, and then they can get honors points for not only AP, but also concurrent enrollment in core class areas. We have our BLI students who are taking 3,000 level college courses after they finish the AP. That would be honored in this system. It's not currently now. And then at graduation, they would be named cum laude, magna cum laude, or summa cum laude based on this honors score. So in running the data from previous classes, it would kind of mirror what we have now in terms of kind of that top tier of students, and then a good majority of our honors students now would still remain in that same category. Yeah. So just based on kind of putting this into place, we're going to start with the school year 2026-27 of eliminating that rank on the transcripts. That actually will help our students in the college admissions process. We spent a lot of time talking to college admissions reps about this, and it is something that they, again, don't see normally on a transcript as rank. So our students have really good GPAs. So sometimes that good GPA translates into number 32 in the class, and that doesn't accurately represent how great they actually are. So taking that off will actually help them. And then colleges don't actually look at weighted GPA. So they look at unweighted GPA. So we will provide that for them, and then they're going to take a look at all those rigorous course options that students have taken and take that into account. So we're going to work on incorporating that in our school profile and on our transcript, and then of course, helping students understand the system as we move forward. So that's kind of the gist of it. Is there anything to add to that?
Yeah, originally we had intended to implement this as part of realignment. It seemed like the appropriate place to make that transition. But we heard feedback, kids are making course selections starting today, and we have not done our due diligence in terms of educating families and students. So we made that decision to delay it a school year so we can spend the rest of this school year, all of next school year, sharing the impact and what that looks like in terms of future planning for our students.
I have a rising ninth grader who asked me what was on the agenda for today, and I said the Latin honor system, and I said, I don't really know about it though.
Yeah.
And she said, do I have to take Latin?
It is a more inclusive way to recognize a well-rounded student.
Yes.
And also when you start talking about mental health of our students know their GPA down to the 10th of a point. And we want them to have different conversations. And so we feel like this is a natural next step, but we need to do some front loading for our families before we make that transition.
Great, thank you.
Yeah.
You'll need to.
Time for you guys. So I'm Todd Clarich, Community Education Director, and I was asked to come and present to you guys just to tell you a little bit about what's happening in the new centers. The community ed side. So as we know, the preschool side is happening as well. I'll just go over staffing at the new center, some office space that we're using, district community education utilization of space, and then our community partners and how they're using the space. And looking forward. Let's start at Jeremy Ranch. So we have myself, I have an office over there, the preschool director, community ed and adult ed assistant and outreach share the vestibule that's up front. And then the preschool special education have a staff member there as well. Our after school teams share some of the office space, pre-K and our K1 teams. There's 6 of them that share an office as well. And then, of course, I want to shout out to the custodians, Hector and Rosa, who keep it nice and pretty and clean in here. So I think Poland is similar. We mirrored it a little bit when it came to the office space. My community ed after school manager is over there. Leisure learning coordinator, Jane, who does the compass. I'll tell you more about that in a minute. There's an office for preschool special education staff member, an MTSS and 504 coordinator for the district. And then the same thing happens, the outreach lead and the community education secretary share the same vestibular when you come into the center. Pre-K and K first, and then our custodian, Kevin Flores over there, does an amazing job. Taking care of us. So the compass classes, everything on here, somebody is either taken or knows somebody that's taken. All these classes are taught in both sections, both the Jeremy as well as in Poland, everything from Dancing Little Stars to Power Chess, Kids Yoga. I mean, you can look at them, Spanish for adults, storytelling, discovery, fly fishing, women's self-defense, and flower arranging. And those are all tuition paying classes, all ages. Park City School District has taken advantage of it as well. We've done vaccination clinics. You guys have held a board meeting there, I believe. You've been turned down for a board meeting because we're too busy, I believe. French DLI parent book, parent information registrations, and the school district has had many staff meetings there as well. So they are getting used. And then my favorite, I barely fit all these on one slide, but it's our community partners. The Ed Foundation has done training, edu staff training for the substitute teachers for Park City has been there, Park City Police, and then all of our partners, Peace House, Hope Alliance did their vision screenings, Holy Cross Ministry, Egyptian Youth Theater, Big Brothers Big Sisters, some of the school PTOs and the PTA, Cafe Con Amigos, YMCA we met with last week, some community gardens, community health, and Girls on the Run. So they just keep growing. So everybody loves it. And just moving forward, we're going to continue to host and welcome all and any students and their families, and continue to collaborate, build, and grow the great relationships we have with our community partners. I invite you to come visit anytime.
They're beautiful. Really great places.
We wanted this up there specifically because we were in one of the spaces for a retreat, and it's great to hear they're being used this much.
And the culinary students too.
Yes. Thank you for listing the custodians as part of the team.
Yeah, of course, yeah, big part of the team, right?
Yeah, absolutely. They're good people.
Yes.
Thanks, Todd. So did we do?
We did public comment.
All right,
so
excellent, you
we are
guys.
now, we are back on track
All
with the
right,
consent
back
agenda.
on- Okay, so. Now bring the computer. So for the consent agenda. We have the regular session minutes of January 21st, special session from 29th, closed session 21st, travel request personnel. Contracts, banking RP award, check registers of January, board revenue and expenditures from January.
Motion to approve the consent agenda as stated.
Any discussion? In the consent agenda?
None?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, next we will go to our monthly reports from our employee group reports. Anybody? Jamie?
I mean, have like a half an hour statement, so.
No, yeah.
Take all the time.
We're with you, buddy.
Just kidding. Good evening. I really appreciate the time tonight, so. PCA has been busy as realignment approaches after years of participation, preparation, and hard work. We commend the efforts of all the groups involved, including those formed out of necessity, and appreciate their dedication. The work has been challenging, sometimes controversial, but their perseverance has been remarkable. Ultimately, we are optimistic about the progress made and look forward to seeing positive impact on both students and staff. PCA remains firm in its stance in the role of HB 267 in collective bargaining and its potential future impact. Past few weeks have been filled with meetings, rallies, discussions, very frustrating. It's also been very refreshing to see the strong emphasis on the continued role of educational professionals, including our classified brothers. This caused me to reflect on where we go from here.
I believe that teachers and support staff are being pushed aside by a national movement aiming to fundamentally change education. As one of the longstanding Park City School District educators, 31 years currently, I urge all of us to stay committed to the cause. Remember the core reason we do this for kids. The work is for students, not driven by politics or finances. PCA would also like to publicly acknowledge the positive feedback from you guys, the school board, Superintendent Huntsman, former Superintendent Fine. We deeply value this relationship and we look forward to continuing our collaboration in support of all employees and working toward a lasting positive culture that best serves our students. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Sharon.
On the board,
All right, well,
do we have any other, sorry? Yeah, this one, boy groups, I don't see anybody.
not much is coming up. We had winters a couple weeks ago, or the 1st of February. We ended up losing $200 on that. So that's very sad. But, yeah, Wish Week is coming up in March 23rd to the 29th. We have elections coming up in a couple months, April 7th. Prom will be really late this year, May 31st. That is about all we're doing. We are also planning, what?
When's graduation?
Graduation is like 4 days after that.
Yeah.
So no one will be coming to school by then, but yeah, and we are
We're going out with a bang.
coming ahead. We're hoping to also set up the senior like graduation party at Woodward this year, right after graduation. So I think that's gonna go from 10 to 2 in the morning. So
That's what it's
yeah,
normally at Basin.
it's normally at
Okay.
Basin, but they're doing construction soon on all the basically.
Okay.
That is all I have to report.
Okay. Thank you. Think you're up next?
Yes,
Ma'am.
ma'am, we were angled, so I'm gonna scooch back so I can see what I'm talking about. Well, good evening. First report as superintendent, it's been a whirlwind of a week and a half, lots of meetings and, plenty of cups of coffee in the morning to get the morning started off right. As always, revisiting our mission is to inspire and support all students equitably to achieve their academic and social potential. Our vision, Park City School District, is student-centered with a focus and emphasis on the whole child. Our students are safe, supported, engaged, challenged, and healthy. And we continuously deliver efficient, effective, and transparent communication about the district. This next slide, Ecker Hill just received their 4th redesignation as a schools to watch. They are one of 15 schools in the state of Utah who have this designation. So shout out to Ecker Hill admin and their schools to watch team. We received very positive feedback from the individuals who visited during that day. You can see some of the kids talking about the different projects displayed and what they are working on throughout their day while they're in their classes at Ecker Hill. Park City High School just recently completed accreditation back in the fall. It typically takes a couple months for us to get that report back. They did receive the highest designation. They call it the Index of Education Quality. They were in the highest tier. Their score was 311. A couple of notable achievements from their previous accreditation that took place 6 years ago were they identified notable gains in terms of building an inclusive and supportive environment, and additionally the systemic elimination of barriers for students taking AP. We're well aware of the Access Award that this high school has received for their AP access and increase in number of students taking AP courses. This is my baby. It is CTE month of February. So highlighting a couple of our different CTE classes. The top left picture is our new commercial kitchen. If you haven't been able to visit, please come visit. It is state of the art. We had the Montage chef come over and he said, this is better than what I get at the resort. So please come check it out. Far right picture is what is referred to as an anatomage table. It is a digital cadaver. So think of a cadaver lab without the smell. So kids can interact with a real cadaver. They have donated their body and they sliced through different elements of the body and digitized them. The student in this picture is in our AP capstone class. And she is doing research on how this equipment has changed the engagement level of students who are able to interact with it, especially in our anatomy class. Bottom picture is our construction lab. The students got to construct these launchers. They wanted to launch, yeah, trebuchet. They wanted to launch pumpkins, but we settled on potatoes, easier to clean up. And then the far right is our aviation pathway. We have 3 flight simulators in our class. Mr. Tripp Marshall is the instructor. Thanks to the Ed Foundation, we have those simulators. They would not be possible without the support of our Ed Foundation. And 1 point back to CTE, currently in this school year, 78% of our 6th through 12th graders are enrolled in at least 1 or more CTE courses. That is up from 2% 2 years ago, which is a powerful statement considering we're in declining enrollment. So the Latin Honor System, this is a high-level overview. Again, Liz mentioned transitioning to Latin Honor System, cum laude, magna cum laude, summa cum laude would be those 3 areas where we would recognize kids. We would transition away from class rank and weighted GPA to honor points, recognizing college classes such as concurrent enrollment that currently aren't recognized in our system. Why change? It aligns with national trends in student recognition. Many of our colleges and universities across the nation have their own methodology. They unweight the GPA and break it down, and it emphasizes individual achievement versus competition. Fosters inclusive and collaborative academic environment, and it celebrates academic excellence equitably across all students. Our next steps will just be a lot of communication to our families with regard to how this will impact their students individually. Last week was National School Counseling Week. We have a tremendous counseling staff, K-12, and we are well below the national ratio that ASCA recommends. So Nico is at Treasure Mountain, Laura's at Trailside, and that is the high school group. They traveled this past fall to the National Counseling Conference, and that's where they get to interact with college admission reps to get feedback specific to things about if we transition to this Latin honor system, how do you view that and how does it impact our students? In terms of realignment and timeline, I shared this with our staff, just want to give an update to the board. So we did post some positions earlier this week. So we had internal postings for interventionists, instructional coaches, and a PACE teacher. The idea is that we have talent here within the district, and we want to give those individuals opportunities to those vacancies prior to looking external.
We agree.
Absolutely.
By this Friday, all of our classified and support staff that is being impacted by realignment at Treasure will have their placement. We've worked hard to get that done, and our goal was to have everyone placed by the time we left for winter break. So we really want to celebrate that. We recognize the angst that has caused some of our Treasure Mountain staff not knowing where they might be next year. Administrator postings, we did post 2 different pools, one for principal, one for assistant principal. Those are open to internal and external candidates. In my communication, I shared with our staff that there will be some appointments, but there will also be some hiring that takes place. We will screen those applicants February 25th. That is when we return from February break. I wanted to have a tight timeline because our goal is to have all of those individuals in place mid to late March. So we have a seamless transition. And then licensed staff from Treasure specifically will receive their final placement letters. They got tentative placement letters back in the fall, but we want to hold off on final placement letters because registration is happening at the high school in Ecker, and there may need to be some movement based on enrollment sections and how many sections kids are signing up for. So the kindness award, if you listened to the local news hour this morning with Leslie, Joel Zarro from the Community Foundation, as well as interim CTE Director Kayla Fine, spoke to the kindness award. We do have kindness awards that have swag and dollars attached to that. There was money that flowed through. the Community Foundation and the Ed Foundation. Kids can be awarded kindness tickets, and then they get entered into a drawing. There is a student prize as well as a teacher prize. That will continue to go throughout the school year, and then at the end, there will be 2 grand prize winners. So again, this is to address hate speech, create an inclusive, kind community within our school culture. Again, communication, I think you guys know this is one of my core values, open and transparent communication. We will continue to grow and improve in this area. Continuously updating our website, posting positive stories and impacts within the classroom on social media. The podcast I was on last week, we had a newsletter that went out last week, but continuing to celebrate all the goodness that is happening within our school district. Sometimes I feel like the negativity overshadows all the good things that are happening in our school district, and we need to do a better job of celebrating that. Community Alliances last Thursday, we were able to screen the film Screenagers thanks to the Ed Foundation. It was well attended. After the screening of the film, we hosted a panel. You can see Nico, Jed Thomas, who oversees some of our counselors, Ben Mueller, who is one of the co-principals at Treasure, and then Larissa Famouk, who does some MTSS work at Treasure. They were able to interact with the audience and answer questions. As a mother of 2 young girls, I see a lot of value in this. There's a fine balance of how do we harness the power of technology, but also maintaining that level of human connectedness. So I look forward to continuing this dialogue. We'll watch legislation to see what happens with cell phones during this current cycle. And again, employees who are in the audience, whether you're a member of an association or not, it was disheartening to watch House Bill 267 pass. It is now to Governor Cox. There is a strong request for him to veto it. But I think one of the big things is myself and the board want you to know that we will work alongside with you and continue the open dialogue in terms of licensed professional agreements and compensation packages. And that's my report for the month.
Thank you. All right, Randy,
School fees.
school fee.
All right, so just to bring the new board members up to speed, so school fees are required to be passed on a first and second reading before the new budget year. But in state board rule, it talks about having that done by April 1st. So that's why we're seeing this in February. You'll see it on the second reading in March as well. There's not many changes to the school fees. Pretty much everything's the same with a couple of exceptions. One is the deductible for lost or stolen laptop. There is a second occurrence fee, which is higher than the first occurrence, which we had not had on the fee schedule. So that second occurrence for 500 has been placed on there. And then the second piece is the hourly wage for research and preparation per hour for grammar requests. So that goes up 6% because our salary schedule is going up 6%. So those are the 2 main changes. We have had one late addition with a middle school sports fee, as we're looking at trying to get some activities off the ground for kids, and sports and murals, those types of things. So that fee is requested at $100. The spend plan, which is required for each fee that's on the fee schedule, to say how it's going to be spent. It'd be $40 for uniform, $40 for camp fees and travel, and then $20 for sports equipment. So happy to entertain any questions. We're looking for a first reading tonight for FY 2026 fees for next year.
Money's available for middle schoolers who can't pay the $100.
Yeah, so that's one key part about the fees, is the fees can't be set to offset any fee waiver kids. The school's got to come up with that, or the district's got to come up with that. And I failed to mention, for the new board members, just so you know, we do not charge co-curricular fees. So if it's a fee that's part of a class, required for the class, we don't charge that fee. We fund that through our budget. So these are more for extracurricular. You'll see nutrition services in there and those types of things.
Thanks.
So we just need a motion.
Oh, sorry. Okay, I will take a, so I will entertain a
To
motion.
accept them now, and then we have to do it again next.
So you have to pass it on a first reading now, and then next month will be a second reading.
I make a motion to accept the school fees.
Second. Any discussion?
Done.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Sorry, thank you. Okay, next up, we have policies for adoption. The following policies are posted for the required 20 days and now adoption, we have policy 2005. The Board of Education power and duties, it's a required change. Excuse me, policy 55010 inventory control, use of district equipment, policy 9010 curriculum courses 6 through 8. Policy 9075 promotion, retention and remediation, policy 9080 graduation requirements. Policy 9105 animals in the classroom, policy 9106 service animals in schools and other buildings, and last but not least, policy 10106 students with life-threatening allergies.
Yeah, it was.
May I get a motion? To approve these policies for adoption.
I make a motion to approve the policies for attention.
Second.
Do we need to ask if we have any?
Oh, were there any? I have not had any discussion. No.
No, I'm good with it.
Nice.
Pretty straightforward.
Animals in the classroom. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so I think we're got through all the things. Thanks, so, nice, all right.
We need a motion to adjourn.
adjourn.
I make a motion to adjourn until our meeting next week. On, yeah, next week.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion made. We need our signatures for the comments.